Welcome back to AskAPop. Today we're talking about we love all shapes and sizes. So does he. A couple decades ago, I used to have a boss at work that talked about different job duties and assignments the way that has stuck with me over all these years. His favorite dish, or one of them, was sushi. And every time we'd have sushi, he'd talk about it. And he'd say that an assignment was like rice bowls. And everybody had their own rice bowls of assignments. And the great thing about rice bowls is all it contained all the rice. But if you have an expert with that expert in there, every time you put four rice bowls together, you got a gap. And he was all for having experts as long as the gaps were filled in, and that meant that nobody was able to say it's not my job. So those experts always had to work outside of their wheelhouse to make sure that the gaps were filled in. The overall meaning he taught us was don't ever just stay in your rice bowl to the exclusion of those gaps. Never say it's not my job. As I was dipping into the butterware dish this morning, hey, don't judge. I think everybody's got one of those cabinets. I was reminded of that, looking at that controlled chaos, I was reminded of that lesson. And it also reminded me of the two Bible verses that I put in here today. Because all those years ago when Jacob was blessing his sons, Israel was blessing all of his sons at the end of his life, he was giving all 12 of his sons, the tribes of Israel, their blessings. And they were very different blessings, but they were all one. They didn't turn out to be 12 nations. They turned out to be one nation under God. Where have we heard that before? And then Paul was reminding us of the gifts that God has bestowed on us. Some people have the gift of gab or to talk. I've been told I don't have the gift to shut up, but I digress. But others have the gift of healing. Others have the gift of teaching. But if you do really well, that doesn't mean you stop there. You're supposed to do what you can anywhere you can. So I think God doesn't see us as just pieces of perfect modern art or as just one little piece that can go into a perfect little display. I think he sees us more as the controlled chaos in a butterware cabinet, just maybe without the tomato stains. Just my opinion on it anyway. Bible verses today are 1 Corinthians 12, 1 through 26, and Genesis chapter 49. As far as questions, what gift or gifts do you use for the further of the kingdom? No judgments here. God bless you. Have a great day.